please give a huge welcome to Steve Jordan.
it takes a lot of patience and fortitude to just play a groove and not be bored and force yourself, because of boredom, to play a fill. As you noticed, there's nothing up here to distract me to play a fill, because that's not really what the communication is all about. The communication is about laying down a groove that becomes so hypnotic and puts you in such a trance that you don't want to break that spell that you're trying to create. So once I discovered that that meant the most to me as a player, I started to focus on that more and more. And of course, you know the saying, less is more. So that's the basis of everything that I think is important about playing the drums for me. And for me, when I was thinking about what I was going to do or what kind of grooves I was going to set up and let the room speak to me and be spontaneous, one thing that I definitely decided that I was going to do was play a shuffle, because the shuffle is a lost art form. And I would advise every drummer in here to learn how to master a shuffle, and there are a lot of different types of shuffles. Once you get into your basic shuffle, then you can start to get into all the different kinds of shuffle, double time shuffle, Texas swing shuffle, all those kinds of things. There are a lot of different shuffles from different regions in the United States. But basically, your basic shuffle, which I demonstrated midway through, is something that all drummers should learn, because it elevates your playing, number one. It brings in the element of swing. And then once you can do that, you're going to be probably the most versatile drummer in your neighborhood, because nobody knows how to play a shuffle anymore. And that's tragic, all right? The world is screwed up enough, but we're people not playing enough shuffles. We don't hear enough shuffles. So if you really want to play in a rock and roll band, not just a rock band, you need to learn how to play a shuffle. And then once you play a shuffle, then you can play in a blues band. All of a sudden, you got more work than the day before. It's really that simple. The first thing, we're going to get in a little question and answer period. And these questions can range from anything, from like me demonstrating a beat that I played on a record that you like, or how I produced a certain record that you like, or don't ask me about any records that you don't like. And then we'll take it from there. And then we'll finish up by various people coming up and playing on this kit and demonstrating what they'd like some advice on, or maybe they might not need any advice, okay? So first things first, let's get into the questions.
Hi.
Right.
My name is Lilian. I'm 16 years old, and I would like to become a professional drummer.
Yes.
And what would you advise to be a professional drummer for you? What's your thing about that?
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so this is the thing about being a professional artist in general. You have to commit yourself to it, meaning that you have to really love it, because if you love it, then you have to commit to it, make a commitment to it, which means that you're committed to all the peaks and valleys of being an artist. That means maybe like there might come a week or two where you don't eat. You have to be ready for that. So you can be on the top of the mountain and in the bottom of the valley. That's the commitment when you want to be an artist?
Hello, my name is Oliver.
Hi, Oliver.
I'm 62 years old.
That's correct.
And I started playing drums 2 years ago.
Ooh, right on. See that? I love that. I love that.
I started with the version you were playing drums on John Mayer's Something Missing.
Ah, okay.
So this is the question. Maybe the answer will come later.
Okay.
So I worked on it, and that I really wanted to do because I want to feel the groove.
Right.
And I tried to analyze it. And maybe you can help me about my analyzing, or maybe you can tell me something about the groove or how it developed or whatever.
Okay, so funny thing about that. So Something's Missing. Yeah, that was a song that that's when I first started working with John. And we had done one song, and then he wrote this song after we had worked together, and he asked me to come back in the studio to record the song. He had a new thing, and I think he knew what I was going to be playing. Now, I can't remember exactly what I played, but I know that it was a 16th note hi-hat kind of groove, correct? Is eighth notes? See, I don't remember. Okay. But the main thing was, and this is my point, is that I let the song speak to me and tell me what to do. And that's how I do everything. The song, if you really listen to the song, and of course it's based on the guitar, so the drums are completely connected to the guitar playing. And that's how I played what I played. Because I'm just listening to the song and I'm letting the song tell me what to do and not going in there going, oh, I got this beat. You know, when I was primarily just playing drums, before I started playing the bass and the guitar and everything, I would come in and think solely as a drummer. And that means sometimes, and all the drummers are guilty of this, I know you know what I'm talking about. You've been working on a beat at home, and you can't wait to bring it into the next session that you play, no matter what the song is. I'm going to stick this beat in there and let the chips fall where they may. I used to think the same way, too. You know, I would work on a thing. I thought, whoa, man, Dave Garibaldi didn't come up with this. I got this freaking thing, man. Steve Gadd didn't have this one. I got this, man. You know, and I go in, and I would play something that really almost had nothing to do with the song, but I was going to stick this thing in, whether it was going to work or not. And it was a great day when I decided to grow up and play music. And you know, and I think that's basically it.
My question for you is, I start now to do recording sessions, and when you or hear a song for the first time, do you just jam to it, or do you make a drum chart for a new album or song or some kind of stuff?
Well, if you mean saying if you're hired by somebody to do something?
Yeah, like this.
Okay, so every session is different. So sometimes, like growing up in New York, which I did, when you got called for a session, and if you were reading music, there was already music prepared for you to read. A lot of producers or arrangers, they would write everything out, and you just had to read what was there until they trusted you enough to where they would let you do some stuff. Like I'll tell you, here's a perfect example. I was making this record, one of my first sessions. I was kind of getting into it already. I was playing this. I was playing this session for Patty Austin, great singer, and it was on CTI Records. And the producer, the arranger was Leon Pendarvis, a great New York arranger. Done a lot of records. And he wrote everything out. And I was reading because everybody had to know how to read. It's very different in the United States. Like in New York and Los Angeles and everything, you know, you were reading music. Below the Mason-Dixon line, like down south, the Muscle Shoals in Memphis and Nashville, you didn't really read a lot. They let you come up with your own stuff. And that's the difference between, if you listen to those records, you'll hear the difference. Something in Detroit sounds a little bit more sophisticated than down south, which is more guttural. Anyway, so I'm reading this chart, and it comes down to, in the 8th measure, there's a drum fill, and it's very complicated. It's very complicated. And I don't want to hold up the session, and I tell the arranger, I said, you know, I'm playing, I can read everything, but this drum fill is, I don't know if I can actually execute this. This is kind of complicated, and I don't want to hold up the session. Can I do a different version of this fill? It's going to serve the same purpose. And the guy said, oh, you can play that fill. I said, no, I don't know. I don't want to hold up the session. He said, Steve, I know you can play the fill because I transcribed it from a fill you played the week before. So that's when they started to trust you, and after a couple of sessions, they let you do stuff, and then they liked what you were doing, and then all of a sudden they're writing stuff out for you. So in a situation that you're in, if they don't have music, it's good to make yourself a little guide chart, just so you know the form of the song. You don't have to write out every note, but you write out, okay, this is the introduction, this is the verse, here's the chorus, back to the verse, the chorus, and then here's the bridge, back to a verse, chorus, outro. So little things like that to help you get through the session, and that will help. Now that's a big help, to know the form of the song, to know how the song goes, so you're not just trying to guess.
Hi, I'm Basti. I have a question if you have any advice on playing like consistent backbeat, and maybe it's about getting...
Okay, so basically, your backbeat sounds pretty good, right? Not bad. So that's very good. So you have a pretty consistent sounding backbeat. Now here's the thing that you need to, and this got back to the reason why I opened up the proceedings with just playing a groove, because you can tell that playing the groove just wasn't enough for you. You had to throw a fill in there, and then you messed up the hypnosis that you were starting to build. You see, because that's the thing. It's boredom that stops people from creating a consistent groove. Now I'll do the same thing. Now I want everybody to get up and dance when I'm doing this. Right? Because that's what you're doing. You're creating this trance, right? Because you're playing a beat, right, that people are supposed to move to. This is not some intellectual exercise. This is a heart thing. This is not a head thing, right? So when you're playing the thing, if you start to play too many fills or whatever, you blow the groove. You know, it's like you don't want people dancing and all of a sudden tripping over their feet. You know, you just want. Okay? But you do have a good sound. So that's the start, you know? Like, yeah, just try not to get in your own way. Boom, ta, ga-dum, goom, ba, tum, ta, ga-dum, ga-dum, ba, goom, boom, ba, ga-dum, goom, ba, ga-dum, ba, ga-dum, ba, 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 ga-dum, ba, ga-dum, ba, ah, ga-dum, ah, ga-dum, ba. I like how he knew that beat, though. That was cool, right? All right, so you got it in you. You have it in you. You do possess it. You just have to unleash it. Don't feel bashful. You cannot be a tentative, bashful drummer unless you want to. No, not even unless you want to. No. There's no unless you want to. You can't. And like I'm saying, you don't have to be egotistical about being confident. That's not a thing. They're two different things. So build your confidence about playing the drums because the drummer is the captain of the ship, okay? Think of all the great bands that when they lose their drummer, they suck, okay? And I can give you a whole list of drummers. Sometimes I've done some of my best playing with just one stick. Like, because if you're in the middle of a take, I did this on a Robert Cray record I just made down in Muscle Shoals. I dropped the stick, but the groove was so good and the take was so good, I couldn't stop. So I just did the rest of the take with one stick, and it was actually better, because if I had two sticks, I might have played something extra that I didn't need. So it was like, what was the song? Oh, yeah. And once I realized that it sounded good with just the one stick, I was happy I dropped the other stick. Because it stopped me from doing something that would have interrupted that hypnosis that I'm talking to you about, that groove, that trance. And then I really got into it. And then by the end, I didn't want to stop playing. It was just, and then I thought maybe I should do the whole album with just one stick. Because it was really good. But that's the thing. You just want to create that thing and make it like revelry. Okay. Yes. Yes. Everybody up. Come on. Woo. Woo. No unnecessary fills. He stayed in the groove. And he looked great doing it. My new friend. Great work. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Get home safe.